Hello, and welcome back to Wrestling is Her. We've taken a little extra time in between shows this time, and this wasn't due to an unforeseen ankle injury I may have suffered during an unfortunate and clumsy jump from the ramp to the floor while saving my tag team partner.
Right.
Or even a concussion I suffered while defending my newly won international championship.
Raja.
Sorry guys. There's been a rash of injuries in pro wrestling of late. You know, women's, men's, etc.
Especially the etc.
I feel them all right here, right here.
They can't see you.
They feel me. You guys feel me. Anyway, all laughing aside, we wanted to go in a new direction, as we said we might do when this ride began.
Yes.
And we believe you'll love it.
We do.
We do. We feel very strongly about this. It was a majority vote, and it was 2-0. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, because we love it as fans, and our mission is to create a show we would love to find that truly celebrates women's pro wrestling, as well as educates the casual fans, and even the hardcore fans, to the stories, matches, and amazing female warriors they may otherwise miss out on.
Yeah, which is many.
Very many
matches and just women in general that are amazing.
Exactly. And we want to bring that to this show and create a place where you can get very immersed into these wrestlers, into the stories they're telling, and just into all the things that we personally love about professional wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, as much as it's grown, we still watch 5-star matches that happen in high school gyms.
Yes, we do. And it's been a wild ride even since we started this show.
Absolutely.
With everything going on.
And we still find things. We find things that, we've had access to, that maybe we've watched and not as closely or as eagle-eyed. Because the one thing about it is when you immerse yourself in a specific part of the sport of Queens, you happen to find that there really is a lot that is held down and a lot that is kind of hidden. And, as much as some companies, celebrate and really try to push them up. I mean, we'll talk about Wrestling Revolver, what a wonderful job they've done. GCW needs gigantic kudos. Brett Lauderdale, awesome guy, but also has really pushed the ladies.
Yeah, absolutely.
From having Masha as the heavyweight champion.
Yeah, and Rina Yamashita with the Ultra-Violent Championship for over a year and having not been pinned in the ring for so long.
Beautiful story in and among itself.
Absolutely.
And they just rocked Tokyo.
They kill it every time they're in the ring too.
So, really cool stuff, man, that's happening around the world, and we want to celebrate that. We want, maybe somebody listening right now is like, what? GCW did that?
That happened?
I haven't watched them since Joey Janela's Spring Break or something.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's hard, especially in the realm of women's wrestling, even as far as we've come right now, finding information on some of the things that have happened, some of the stories, even some of the background for these ladies is so difficult. You have to dig.
Oh my God.
If you want to find anything. And we want to be that sort of hub, that place where you could go and get information that you're looking for to learn about these women.
So when Raja is Diana Prince, she absolutely has a job that researches and you
should have seen me. This week.
So all day, all she does is have to research boring topics that she knows nothing about, nor cares about.
Yeah.
And as a freelance writer, well, not really freelance right now, you're working for a company, but you're a freelance writer.
Yes. And that's where my beginnings come from.
So this whole research thing is old hat to you as far as looking things up, finding things. But you were telling me that finding, storylines or histories and stuff with a lot of these ladies is super difficult.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier to find information on how to brew the perfect cup of coffee than it is to find the backstory of this one Japanese Joshi wrestler from the 1990s. I mean, it's difficult, but you get there in the end. If you persevere, you'll find what you're looking for.
Yeah, and that's not to say there's not some amazing content creators out there.
Oh man, they're very helpful.
Yeah, that have tried to capture and preserve and celebrate all this, but it's still maybe not the first Google search result, you know?
Right. Yeah,
so
no.
hopefully that all changes, and that's all up to you guys. If you like it, you know, one person can make a difference by going and forcing your friend to also listen, and they do the same. And, you know, we just grow this thing. We got to grow it.
Yep. Listen, follow us on social media at Wrestling is Her.
Absolutely.
On everything.
And look, it's small right now, and I hope we look back at that and laugh, right?
Right.
I've been part of pretty good sized deals with, you know, things. I've been on TV shows and nationally and you know, in other mediums, and done a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Done a lot of things, small and big fries there, but we're going to stick with this.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like sometimes when I get behind a podcast or I get behind a show, my dedication to it has a lot to do with their dedication.
Yes.
How much passion they put. How many times have you heard me say, you know what? It's not my cup of tea, but if they're putting passion into it, I feel that.
Yeah.
And
it matters a lot. The passion matters from both ends.
And I'll watch it, but I think that's the thing. You know, I want you guys to know we're going to keep doing this.
Yes. You're not getting rid of us.
We're going to keep doing this. So you can invest in us. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep trying new things.
Yes.
We're going to keep changing and evolving. And that's what today's show is about.
Absolutely. And we're only a handful of episodes in so far. So it makes sense to try things out and to evolve as we go. And we're trying to find our footing in the way that we see pro wrestling, in the way that we love pro wrestling, and what touches us the most when we're watching a match. So that's the direction we're heading in.
Right.
And we want you to follow us in that direction and see where we end up.
So, you know, in a nutshell, we didn't want to be just a results show.
No.
And that's we going out, at the onset, we definitely didn't want to be a news show because we hate the dirt.
Yeah, we're not about the like backstage drama.
No.
And I mean, sometimes it's relevant to the story in the ring, but that's what we're focused on, is in between those ropes. And we do love the technical aspect of wrestling.
Yes.
We love the wrestling in and of itself, but the thing that really draws us in, the thing that we love more than anything, is the stories.
Yes.
And the things that these women are doing to like tell their version of a story and bringing things back from the past and pushing things forward in a way that we've never seen before. And we just want to inform you guys on the amazing things that we're seeing right now and what they mean in like a larger context in the world of women's wrestling.
Absolutely. And, you know, speaking of the dirt, there is dirt out there, right? So that does, like Roger was saying, that does come into play. Like when we profile a 90s, as you pointed out, like an 80s or a 90s Joshi star.
Yeah.
The stuff they had to go through, you know, the pork and beans and kings and queens, they do a little Dusty Rhodes. But, you know, they had to suffer a lot.
Absolutely.
And, you know, so some of that stuff will play into it. If we were talking about something we may be talking about later today.
Yes.
Maybe where they slept was important, you know?
Right.
So there is a place.
There is a place.
But what we're talking about staying away from is if somebody called somebody a bitch in a New York locker room, we don't care. You know,
really matter.
It's that you can find that elsewhere. This is about celebration. This is about the love of, and if it does go into the context of telling our story, you'll get it.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to kick off today's show talking about what's been going on recently.
There you go.
In the world of women's wrestling. We are going to talk about some quick results, get through some things that we haven't been able to talk about yet, even though we've wanted to.
Even the big one.
It's been a crazy 2 weeks in all over the place, but I think we should start with some indie wrestling. And talk about Revolver Women's Grand Prix from October 8th. And this show, it came on in the afternoon, and it was an 8-woman tournament for the inaugural Women's Grand Prix at Wrestling Revolver.
Yes, easy for you to say.
Easily, of course. Yes, all the R's. This was, of course, headed by Renee Paquette.
Yes.
And we had Veda Scott and Gia Miller there as well on commentary. But this show was so good. And the reason I loved it so much was just the storyline throughout the day that they were telling with these matches. It started off with, well, let's tell everyone what the 8 women were that were in the tournament.
Right.
We had Marina Shafir, Janai Kai, Trisha Dora, Emi Sakura, Allison Kay, Vert Vixen, Billy Starks, and Rachel Armstrong.
Yes.
Those were our 8 contestants.
I mean, what a amazing eclectic group.
Yeah.
With,
new veterans.
Yeah, the trainer, the know-it-all of Emmy and the comedy of Emmy.
Yes.
But also the hard-hittingness.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
Is hittiness even a word? It's not.
I think hard-hittiness might need to be a word.
Okay. Well, hard-hittiness of Emmy just is amazing, especially seeing it. If you've only seen her at, AEW, this is more her lane, man. This is like if you were to watch like a Tokyo Joshi Pro show, you're going to see it in a place about like this, with this kind of energy,
absolutely.
this kind of size. So she's used to playing to these crowds and, does a fantastic job of it. And then you have someone I was really excited to see was seeing Marina come in there, outside again, stepping outside of AEW, which we've seen her outside of there, but it's been a minute. And, having that killer that that character she's got going.
She has a lot more freedom to do what she's meant to do.
Oh, yeah.
In the ring.
Which is F people up.
Yes, and that brings us to our first match of the night, which was Marina Shafir versus Janai Kai.
Yes.
And Janai Kai just returned from Japan, where she'd been wrestling in GLEAT with the Diamond Egoists. But this match didn't last very long.
No. No, surprising.
And it ended when Marina Shafir got a guillotine on Janai Kai and just knocked her out completely. So then we moved on to Trish Adora versus Emi Sakura. And this was a fun match, of course. Emi did all of her, her chops and everything like that. And Trish was the stronger of the two in the ring versus the experience of Emi Sakura. But Trish Adora's strength won out in the end, and she advanced to the second round over Emi. The third match was Allison Kay versus Vert Vixen. I was very impressed with Vert Vixen in this match.
Me too.
She's always exciting to watch. She has so much tenacity, and she's so fast.
Yeah.
But Vert Vixen did get the win with her Blue Thunder Bomb in this match to go to round 2. And then the final match of round 1 was...
Take that, Simon Miller.
was Billy Starks versus Rachel Armstrong. And Billy Starks, of course, won this match. She's kind of the shoe-in here.
It don't matter where she is. She feels like the hometown girl.
She does, yeah. She gives that feel like she's everyone's best friend.
They're like, well, she's from Louisville, which is only a few hours from here.
Yes.
So it's basically hometown.
Yes, it is. But Rachel Armstrong was also very impressive. She's got some great potential.
Absolutely.
Having just started in this game.
I thought so too.
Billy Starks does a gory bomb, I want to point out, that's just nasty in the corner.
It's
that
gorgeous.
Scared me.
Yeah.
But she did the Swanton Bomb for the win.
Which
in this
always
match.
scares us.
We got some non-tournament action where Zoe Sky defeated Jamie Senegal in between rounds. And then in round 2, we started off with Marina Shafir versus Vert Vixen, which was, again, a very fast, very quick match where Marina was dominant and just armbarred Vert Vixen for the win.
My favorite thing about her is she just seems like... it goes back into this old adage, and it's people at this point have heard everything on shows, unfortunately, but in my early days in a locker room, I remember some of the veterans looking at me going, what you want is for them to think, well, that other stuff's phony.
Right.
But when John comes out there, well, that was real.
Right. That's a good way to think about it.
He wasn't messing around.
Right.
And, no matter what happens around you, if you're able to suspend disbelief, right? With the fans, if you're able to grab the fans like that, and Marina has that ability.
Absolutely.
She never breaks character, even when they're announcing the girls at the first of the night, doing a very Stardom-esque deal.
Yeah, they're all smiling.
Or very, Fight Club type thing. I mean, just, where you come out and the fighters are there and all that good stuff. But she slowly, at the first of the night, if you noticed, she looks, pretty mad and she's just stoic, but then she slowly turns her head and eyes her first opponent, Janai Kai.
Yes.
And did not take her eyes off
down.
of Janai. So, but nobody put that over. Nobody said anything about it at all.
Right.
But if you're paying attention, just for those few that are paying attention, she did that. Now she's
very intense.
That I appreciate. That's attention to detail.
It is, yes. The other second round match we had was Billy Starks versus Trish Adora, which, of course, Trish is the bigger, stronger wrestler, and Billie really had to fight from underneath this entire match just to get the win, which she did at the end. She got the double arm trap pile driver on Trish Adora for the win.
I love the fact that Trish had learned from watching the first match and that she was ready for the other weapons of Billie.
Yes, she absolutely cut her off at every turn.
Again, very smart booking in the show.
Yes, and then we had another non-tournament match before the final where Jordynne Grace and Killer Kelly won over the Killer Death Machines, Jessica and Nevaeh, which was a fun match. It was very silly.
It was very, very funny.
Jessica was very scared of Killer Kelly.
Yes. Yeah, that was the whole thing. And it was, again, what a great match to put in between to kind of take the edge off.
Absolutely, because then we had our final match in the tournament between Marina Shafir and Billie Starkz. And this is where the story throughout the night really set in for me, because you have Marina, who's had 2 matches that were very fast, and she was very dominant. She didn't really take any damage. And then you've got Billie Starkz, who had 2 of the longer matches of the night where she was being beat down for the majority of her match both times.
Right.
So you've got Billie in there like selling all these injuries, and then you've got Marina in there looking like Marina Shafir.
Right.
And on top of that, going into this match, Marina Shafir had never lost in Wrestling Revolver before.
Wow.
So there was a lot of high stakes in this match aside from just the trophy from this tournament.
Right.
But in the end, when Marina seemed like she was going to get the win with a rear naked choke on Billie Starkz, Billie had the wherewithal to flip over the top and pin Marina's shoulders to the mat for the 1, 2, 3 to get the win, to get the trophy, to hand Marina her first loss in Wrestling Revolver.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful.
and you know, in doing so, winning like that, it kind of protects Marina as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Makes a rematch very much an intriguing aspect to this match.
I agree.
So it's,
and Marina did shake her hand after the fact. She was very, very cool about it, losing her first match. And of course, Renee and Jon Moxley got in there with Billie to give her trophy, and it was very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Freaking awesome, man.
The whole show was good.
They did a great job, and I hope that, next time you can't even get a ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. Next year's is probably going to be even crazier. Yeah, I have to imagine.
So, hats off to Sammy, to John, to Renee, to everybody involved in that, in front and behind the scenes. Aveda 100%. Scott. It was absolutely, amazing for what they pulled off with, where they were at. And,
yes, and the story was so good, and I just loved every moment of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was so good. It was a showcase of the women of tomorrow.
There you go, buddy.
So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in WWE.
Okay.
We, in NXT right now, are going through the Women's Breakout Tournament.
We are.
And so far in that tournament, we have had 2 matches and 2 people advance, which are Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice.
Yes.
So right now, we're still kind of in the beginning stages of the tournament. Kalani Jordan seems to be kind of the pick to win it all.
I agree.
At this moment. I was really impressed with Izzy Dame against Kalani Jordan in that first round match. I thought Izzy was really good, but unfortunately she didn't pull out the win. But I'm excited to see where this goes, where this tournament ends up, and if Kalani does end up pulling out the win over these other 7 women in this tournament.
Well, just remember, you don't have to go over to get over, kid.
Exactly. We also have in the title picture, because Becky's a champion, as we know, there was a 3-way match to see who would be facing her at Halloween Havoc Night 1. Mm-hmm. And it was Indy Hartwell versus Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez.
Yes.
And Lyra Valkyria ended up winning that match, which is really cool because earlier in the night she came down to talk to Becky about how much she meant to her, how much she meant to Irish wrestling, and just how much it would mean to her to be able to face Becky in a match for the title.
Yeah.
So it's cool that she's going to be able to do that at Halloween Havoc.
Absolutely. Good little story going there. I think it'll have a few surprises in it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I just want to mention, I know it's been a minute, but the Extreme Rules match at NXT No Mercy between Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton.
Right. We missed that, yeah.
Was so good. Like, if you watch the Last Man Standing match at Fastlane, this was head and shoulders above that in brutality, in work rate, everything. Like, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. These two, just something about seeing a girl in pink silk and pearls, like throwing hammers at each other. I don't know. Like, that just gets to me,
right?
I guess.
No, it's good.
And it was so good. These girls did an amazing job.
Especially with the confines they have to stay in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In WWE. So...
There were Barbie parts being thrown around.
Right.
It was so good. It was good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the greatest they could have done, I think, on the canvas that was given to them.
Yes, absolutely. They got 4.5 stars for this match, which I completely agree with because it was that good. And of course, Becky won that match because she's still the champion. But Tiffany was just class act.
I'm high on Tiffany.
Yes, she's a talent.
I'm very high on Tiffany. I think that she was one of the ones that... I know not everybody likes, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
To be able to get, like the meets or whatever they do in malls and, like athletes come out and, some of these NIL programs they have, where they take the college athletes and sign them and develop them and, all this. But listen, man, I've seen some really so far, some really good evidence that you can find. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have heart for the business regardless.
Yeah.
So even if they pick you off the street, if I go out there right now and I'm like, hey, Rufus, I don't know you, pal. You look athletic. Let's go in the ring. Because, why would I do that? Well, do you want $1 million? Yeah, absolutely. I want $1 million. The thing is, it doesn't matter. Once you take a bump and your body feels a bump, it's going to take something called heart.
Yes.
When you have to go in front of a camera and be a character and really put it out there and put asses in seats, in order to do that, you can't fake it, right?
No.
That's I hate the word anyway, but to be able to show passion and have passion and be good,
right?
You got to be real.
Absolutely. It can't be about the money. You have to be passionate about the work you're doing.
So
it comes through.
I think the ones that don't need to be there won't be there.
Exactly. Because the fans won't like them.
Right.
So they're just going to go. While we're on the topic of Becky, I do want to mention that her book is up for pre-order. Becky Lynch, The Man, Not Your Average Girl.
Yeah.
Coming out in March.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait to read that.
You got to pre-order it so that you can get it when it comes out.
Yeah. Looking forward to reading that one. Shame on me. Shame on us. We still haven't read Medusa's book.
We're working on it.
And got to get around to Medusa's book.
Yes, absolutely.
It's full disclosure, I talk about a guy here, but I'm still reading Steve Kern's book, and the reason it takes me a while is I keep going back. Like I'll read a chapter and I'll go back and read the chapter again because it's so freaking good.
That's good.
It's like
you gotta get it. You make sure it's all up in there.
I can't wait to give it to you.
Yeah.
Just telling you.
I can't wait to read it.
There you go, kids, if you want something to read.
So on the main roster side, of course, we've been seeing little hints and mentions of Jade Cargill here and there, and even on NXT recently on Tuesday.
And the big face-off now.
Yes, and then on SmackDown, there was a face-off between Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill. And like, just do it. Just do it, please.
Twitter melted down.
Of course they did. Who wouldn't?
X melted down.
That's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
I figured we'd have to wait a long time before we got to that point. But like, honestly, just do it.
They were eye to eye. I mean, they're the same size.
They are, yes. That match is going to be crazy.
I think that's what you need, though. I think really, if you're not going to be jobbing out to her, then putting her with, the upper echelon will definitely make her better.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You get better when you go against the best.
Yes.
And,
but also, Charlotte is still in that feud with Damage Control. Maybe she's looking for reinforcements.
That could be the case. I mean, if you put Jade, pronouns, you put Jade against Bailey.
Ooh.
I mean,
Bailey is a veteran of the game.
How much you going to learn? You're going to learn a lot.
So much.
So I think this is great for Jade. I've thought that since she first debuted on AEW. Listen, there's no shock or surprise.
No.
We love AEW.
Yes.
And it has our heart. And, we feel invested in it. We've been to 20 plus shows live.
Yeah, yes.
And, that's a happening, Bobby. That's a big deal. So, but that doesn't mean that we're not honest And honestly, Jade looks like a WWE superstar.
She does. She fits right in with those girls.
She's always belonged there.
She looks right when she's face to face with Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I mean, as much
And not many people do.
as much as Seth Rollins belongs in AEW.
Just come on already.
Sorry, I just had to put it out there.
All right. Well, speaking of AEW, why don't we talk about what's going on that side of things?
Let's do it.
Now, of course, we haven't recorded since before WrestleDream.
Oh my God.
So we've missed a lot, and we just had Title Tuesday, which was insanity
Jesus
all
Christ.
around.
So amazing.
So we're just going to talk about the major things that are happening story-wise right now in AEW. So on the
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm, that's it.
That's it. See ya.
So since we recorded, Tony Storm has debuted. Timeless Tony Storm, which has been just a joy and a delight to watch.
I'm going to be one of those indie band fans right now.
Okay.
Bro, we were listening to Tony way before Tony debuted. And we were all about Tony, but we also got bored with Tony just like everyone else.
Right.
Because there was something missing. Yeah. Something was missing. It wasn't right.
Yes, but we knew Tony was timeless before everyone else.
Absolutely we did. But this is fantastic, man. It's just one of those things you can't buy it.
No.
You can't force it because
it's one of those passion things.
Organic.
Yeah.
It has to happen. The fans all felt the way we felt the first time we saw her even hint around at a character like this.
Yes, just the smallest whiffs of it.
Yeah, and we saw that whole character at that point. We were like, wouldn't it be great if
she's just the forgotten starlet that thinks she's still a star.
Absolutely.
Oh, God, it's amazing. And in these matches so far with Sky Blue and Kiera Hogan, she's introduced some new facets of the character, including calling for a close-up when she's about to hit the Sweet Cheek music and making these ridiculous faces. Just amazing.
It's so funny.
And also calling for the commercial breaks in the middle of the match, saying we'll be right back after a word from these sponsors. God, I love it.
It's absolutely the best, and it's based. What's so funny about this? So in our house is a strange place.
It is.
It is a strange place. So in our house lives an Ariana.
Yes.
And this Ariana likes timeless things.
Yes.
Okay. So at 16 years of age, your sister loves insane things for a 16-year-old person.
She does, but we love her for it.
So in music, it's like, well, maybe I'm listening to 1930s. Maybe I'm listening to 1950s. Movies the same way. So this past week, she was all hooked on Sunset Boulevard, one of her favorite movies.
Yes.
From 1950. And that is the Tony Storm character.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's the aging silent film queen, refusing to accept that her stardom has ended, which is funny.
It's
funny because of stardom. When I looked up the movie the other day, just because I knew that everything she was doing was basically that movie.
Right.
When I seen that sentence in the description, I'm like, how funny is that? Because of Tony Storm and stardom.
Yeah.
But an aging silent film queen refuses to accept that her stardom has ended. She hires a young screenwriter to help set her movie comeback. The screenwriter believes he can manipulate her, but blah, 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 blah. I'm ready for my close-up. That's where it comes from. It's
amazing.
So it's such a cool deal. So if you ever want to go out and just get some culture, there's a little culture for you, a little nougat.
Yes, and everything from the black and white entrance to the just her stopping in the middle of a match to fix her hair. And I mean, it's
the commercial break.
The commercial break, it's all amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Title Tuesday, she didn't have a match, but she still snuck her way in there because every picture-in-picture almost was her performing her silent film.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It was so good.
It's just something little, just a little thing. But
yes,
kudos to Tony and kudos to AEW for running with it, allowing her to run with it and striking while it's hot.
Yes, chin up, tits out.
Chin up, tits out.
We don't actually know where Tony Storm is heading match-wise right now.
Right.
Recently, we saw her chase Ruby Soho out of the title match with a shoe. So I assume she's still feuding with the Outcasts in some capacity.
Yeah.
But I'm having fun just watching her having these silly matches.
Honestly, it's one of those times when somebody who doesn't need the title.
Oh, absolutely.
If she doesn't go in and automatically win the title back.
Right.
That's fine.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I think she's just happy with what she's doing now.
Just feud with, with the girls. Definitely babyface, though.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So in the TBS title picture, right now, on Collision tonight, Chris Statlander has a match against Sky Blue. So Sky has finally started winning again, and she's in this interesting storyline because Chris beat Julia Hart at WrestleDream. She's still a TBS champion right now.
Right.
But Julia Hart has caused some trouble by spraying mist in the eyes of both Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue, who have been wearing the dark, smeared makeup out to the ring and being more serious and more stoic than they would normally be.
Right, even on the indies.
So it seems like we're kind of heading in a direction where that's going to turn into maybe House of Black, maybe just them forming their own little thing.
So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about Willow, as hot as Willow is as a babyface, and not really explored it yet? She hasn't had her super explosion as a baby.
Right.
And really just got over. She went from being enhancement talent to earning her spot.
Right.
And then having some luck. If you
want to call it that.
Yeah, fall her way. She capitalized on something that wasn't good for someone else.
Right. She was in the right place at the right time.
Right time. But, not really capitalizing on her stardom herself, like the excitement that everybody had, behind her, and that stuff can go away really quickly.
It can.
You cool off when you're not right in front of the cameras and doing the right thing.
Right.
Wardlow.
But one of the facets of her character that people love is the coming out, dancing, being all happy and smiley.
Right. That's the biggest part.
So it's interesting to think that she might go the complete opposite direction. And when she does come out, her name on her screen, Willow Nightingale, Willow's all pretty and bubbly and flowery, and then Nightingale's kind of written in this scratchy, so I'm wondering if there always has been this side of her that maybe she keeps pushed down with all the happiness.
I love the way your mind works, and I loved it the first time you said it, because I had never even noticed as much stuff as I notice.
Yeah.
The very fact that you out Sherlock Holmes me on that was fantastic, because I was like, oh my shit, I never thought about the Nightingale.
Yes, I think she should be the Nightingale.
Yeah.
That should just be her thing. If she's going to go this direction,
right,
why not have it be its own little facet of her personality? Yeah. She could be Willow or she could be Nightingale.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah.
And then Sky Blue in the picture, I guess they could be a tag team.
And when she is Willow Nightingale, have a little bit of both.
Yeah. She does. She kind of gets mad and she takes the straps down in her matches, when
amazing.
She's got to get serious.
So somebody just needs to run with that on commentary, because,
absolutely.
She's going all Nightingale on us.
I give you permission to use that.
Absolutely, please. That just makes it better.
And then, of course, on Title Tuesday, we had a title change in the women's division when Hikaru Shida defeated Saraya to become the first ever 3-time AEW Women's World Champion.
What?
Crazy.
Shocking.
It was. I was not expecting it to happen.
I was shocked. I was happily shocked.
Yes, me too. And I think Shida was pretty happy.
I wanted Saraya to keep the belt and win forever and ever and ever. But the thing was that was a heart pit kind of thing for All In, for being in your home country and all this stuff, which I think was probably Jamie Hayter's spot.
More than likely.
I think
it was originally probably supposed to be that way.
Yeah, I think everything we've seen has been rewritten multiple times.
I agree.
And, Jamie was, again, organic rise.
Yes, everyone loves her.
But, I can't wait to see what happens when Jamie's able to come back.
Yeah.
Because right now that seems a weird place to insert her.
It does. But I feel like they're going to go in the direction with Britt Baker, where her and Shida have had these run-ins in matches and they've been feuding a little bit. And of course, the last time they were in the ring together, they kind of got more chippy than usual. So now that Shida has the belt, maybe Britt Baker's looking to become a champion again.
Well,
herself.
hopefully Shida has a longer reign. this time than the second reign. I don't want her to be like that
person,
that transitional champion.
Right. More akin to her first title run where she had it for such a long time.
I think she needs it at least like 3 months.
I agree. And it would be cool to have the Japanese champion, especially if we're maybe bringing in someone from Stardom sometime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Be really cool.
Yeah.
So why don't we move on to Stardom? Because we got a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm. She's talking about Mariah May, folks.
Yes, I'm talking about Fighting Princess Mariah May, who needs to show up in AEW as soon as possible.
Okay.
So let's start with New Blood 11 from September 29th. This show started off with a three-way match where Hina defeated Kazuna Tanaka and Hanako in 7 minutes with the Gato clutch. Good for Hina. And then we saw Ruaka defeat Lady C with her freezer bomb in just under 6 minutes. We saw Tekla defeat Waka Tsukiyama and Sexy Dynamite Princess. And of course, Sexy Dynamite Princess got unmasked in this match to everyone's shock and horror.
Shocking.
And it was Mariah May. And those matches are always fun. And Tekla and Mariah just did a brilliant job of selling the silliness, which I love more than anything.
And selling the kissing and...
Yes.
Yeah.
And all the sexiness.
Yes, absolutely.
But this was Mariah's last match as Sexy Dynamite Princess, probably, at least for a while.
And it looks like she passed the mantle to Waka.
It did seem like that.
Yeah.
She gave her mask after the fact. So then we saw Yuna Mizumori's second Cosmic Angels assessment match against Tam Nakano. Of course, Tam won this match in 12 minutes with the Violet Screwdriver, but after the fact, she told Yuna that she had showed enough and she'd worked hard enough and got herself in good enough shape that she was worthy of joining Cosmic Angels. She is the unsinkable in the universe, is what she called her. And then we come to probably the best match of the night, in my opinion, the Passion Injection match between Nanae Takahashi and Mei Seira.
Oh my God.
And this match, of course, Mei called for this match at the last New Blood when Nanae defeated Saya Ida, and she wanted her turn at the Passion Injection match, especially before her upcoming High Speed Championship match. So this match, it brought a lot out in Mei Seira.
It did. It brought a lot out in me.
It did. You were on the floor.
Yeah.
Up in the air. It was insane.
It's such a good match, guys. I mean, I love Mei Seira. Raja loves Mei Seira.
I do.
And the whole thing about it is, what's not to love? I mean, she's so talented.
She really is. She's fast. She moves well. She does hard hitting, like kicks and slaps, and she got it all. I
would say she's the greatest 21-year-old pro wrestler on the planet, but holy crap.
There's a long list of them right now.
Her best friend.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And Mei survived for 14 and a half minutes in this match against Nanae, just beating her down, but Mei would not stay down. She refused to stay down until she did stay down because of the Queen Bee Bomb. But that's beside the point.
Yes.
After this match, Nanae was talking about how she wants to wrestle Mei again when she's bigger and better and a champion, which, I mean, it's not going to have to wait very long.
Hold my beer.
Mei was a little disappointed in herself, and she talked about how she was scared before the match, but now she's not scared anymore, and she's definitely going to go and win the High Speed Championship.
Yeah, but it harkens back to the thing that made me fall in love with Japanese professional wrestling originally. Was one of my first experiences with it was seeing the emotion when they were showing a backstage interview, and I was just a kid, and I don't even remember who the guy was. Right. I was watching it for some of the gaijin that they had over there at the time, and but this gentleman lost, and honestly, it's such a vague memory. But that, and moving on to that, when I rediscovered it was in the 90s during ECW, and I was such a freaking lover of ECW, so I was watching like Hayabusa and all this stuff, and seeing Hayabusa, crying and like showing that emotion, things we didn't ever see
Yeah.
on our guys.
With wrestling.
Yeah. So, and of course,
it makes it so much more emotional. Like you make that connection so much better.
and the All Japan women, I mean, just,
Oh man.
that's that's the big part. I mean, you had the violence that I've never seen violence like this violence. And again,
Right.
no weapons are required,
Right.
but they also see that emotion. And
Yeah.
that's what it reminded me of. I mean, you had a connection to the past anyway in this match, but
Right.
having May just really struggling underneath, and that young warrior trying to get the acceptance, and
just refusing to go down.
yeah,
Like
which is
move
what it's
after
about.
move.
It's
Oh,
not
so
about
good.
her winning. It's,
No.
yeah, it's about her taking that. I mean, dude, she was busted up.
Oh yeah, she got beat down in this match.
Yeah, blood.
But she didn't care.
Yeah,
She didn't care. She was ready.
yeah,
And she was ready to go into that championship match after the fact.
absolutely.
After that, we saw Rina retain the Future of Stardom Championship over Azusa Inaba.
Yes,
Just a lot of kicks and hits. And I mean,
kicks.
this is a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old, and they're already this good at wrestling. Like,
scary,
please.
scary.
And of course, they were like, let's hunt old ladies together.
Yeah.
Silly kids.
It's just it's crazy to think that 20 years can go by and she can still be young in the sport. Like not young in the
Absolutely.
sport, but young person
Yeah, still
in the
wrestling.
sport. Yeah.
And Rina did call out either Miyu Amasaki or Hanako for the next title match when they go to Kansai for the next New Blood. So, yay.
I like to see her
I like
versus
both of those.
Kevin. That's-
Yes, her and Miyu would be a fun match. And then we had our main event of the evening, which was for the New Blood tag team titles, where Saya Ida and Hanan faced Miyu Amasaki and Azumi, and versus Starlight Kid and Karma, who were the champions. And of course, this match was very difficult to watch because going into it, we had already seen the 5-star finals. We already knew that Starlight Kid got hurt in this match, and it happened almost immediately. I was not expecting it to be so early in the match where she hurt her ankle, but she still wrestled the rest of the match.
Yeah.
And poor Hanan putting those heel hooks on. I was like, please stop.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Right. My God. It's, oh, Jesus. It just, talk about karma.
Oh, yeah. Karma was in this match for sure.
Yeah. Don't let karma in the match again, folks. Holy crap. Because it robbed us from the thing we had been waiting for.
Oh, we were so upset. I think everyone was, but
any fan of the story, the glorious story between Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid,
yeah.
felt robbed. And look,
did.
you don't want to display that in a negative way, because it's not like Starlight Kid wanted to get hurt.
No, she's just as upset, if not more upset, than the rest of us.
But this feels like the once a year that you get to see this story progress. And, was she going to take her to the limit this year? Was she actually going to overcome? If she did overcome, can you go back to when she being SLK, when she first left Stars, would she return? Would she possibly stand side by side with Mayu Iwatani again? Or the craziest thing in the world, what if Mayu Iwatani would stand beside SLK?
I don't know. I don't know what would have happened, but I'm upset that we didn't get to find out.
It'd be such a Hogan NWO thing for Iwatani to be Oedo Tai.
It would be the craziest switch of factions that could possibly happen.
I think that kind of stuff's cool, though.
Like, Mayu Iwatani leaving Stars at all would be crazy,
Yeah.
but leaving it to go to Oedo Tai
Yeah, sorry.
would be insane.
That's just my little dream booking.
But Starlight Kid did do her best in this match. Everyone did. It was a really good match, but of course we were sitting there concerned. The whole
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
And Wingori, Hanan, and Saya Ida came up with the win and are the new Blood tag team champions. So good for them.
Yeah, they deserve it, man. I mean, they absolutely deserve it. It's great to see.
It is. It was so much fun. And that brings us to the 5-star Grand Prix final night on September 30th, which was rife with injuries and things changing.
Yep.
We lost quite a few matches on this night.
Oh, boy, howdy.
But it started off with a fun little battle royal in the pre-show that Suzu Suzuki won.
Huh.
And she was in there last with May.
Yeah.
Her buddy and future Goddess of Stardom Tag League partner.
Yes.
And they had a nice little singles match there at the end, like for a few minutes before Suzu finally got the win by shoving Mei Seira off the top rope to the floor. Don't get on the top rope in a battle royal.
Kids, don't get on the damn ropes in a battle royal.
You get eliminated by going over the ropes if you put yourself up there. You're just asking for it.
One of the shoot things you learn in wrestling right off the bat. When you get in a battle royal, you're going to have a veteran give you the Iggy. Don't do crap off the ropes, kid.
Yeah, no. Bad idea. So our first tournament match of the night was Mariah May versus Hanan. And this was very emotionally charged because these two are so close and because it was Mariah May's last match in Stardom for a while. Hanan ended up with the win, putting her at 6 points total for the tournament, and
everybody cried.
Everyone cried.
Yeah.
Mariah gave a little speech afterwards. It was very nice, but it was sad at the same time.
Freaking Waka on commentary.
Oh, Waka was sobbing.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
She was in a pool of her own tears.
Oh, and then Hanan brought Mariah May up the winner's ramp with her at the end of the match, which was really sweet.
Yeah. No,
I love their friendship.
I do too. It's great. And part of me just wishes Mariah May would just go back.
I know. She said she would come back eventually, so we got hope for the future for her and Hanan to team or something.
Part of me hopes that Mariah May goes and makes her name, blazes her trail in AEW or wherever it is she goes, and does come back as a changed worker, as one of the recognized elite of the world.
Right.
And by that point, Hanan has white belted it.
Right.
Has really
risen up the ranks.
Yeah, one of the sisters, one of the, and so much story. Like she is a Stardom girl. I mean, she is absolutely through and through everything that kind of makes a Stardom girl. And I'd like to see her stay that way and get up and become better,
right.
and get to that point where she's elite. And then you have that reunion. And it goes back to, when you have a reunion with somebody, everybody has that friend or that acquaintance that they've not seen in 10 years, but as soon as you get together, or as soon as you talk to them, it's the same juvenile stuff that it was 10 years before. And it's so weird how no time passes on that. That's what I like about it. Like the thought of them getting together and giggling and,
right.
But at the same time, they're two of the best in the world.
Right.
There's my long-term storytelling.
Hanan winning that belt and like in a match at the end, waiting for a new challenger. And then Mariah May's music hits. It's like everyone's surprised.
Well, hopefully we get to go back to this in like 3 years.
Yeah, be like, we called it.
Yeah.
After that, we saw Azumi versus Momo Watanabe. And you know how it goes with Momo Watanabe. It was the usual stuff. Momo did win this match, putting her at 10 points total for the tournament at the end.
Yes.
So good for her, I guess. Azumi had a bad couple weeks. Poor girl.
She did.
That's okay, though. We still love her.
She don't deserve it.
Then we saw Mina Shirakawa versus Sariano, which was a really good match.
It was.
These two, of course, they were all about the knees. Both of them working the knees.
Is one of those people that you don't get excited about it before the match.
No, and then it starts and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, but she's the opposite of that whole, but then the bell has to ring.
Right, she just flips it.
Yeah, it's a good thing when the bell rings for her.
Sariano won this match, putting her at 10 points for the tournament. And
which is also surprising.
She won with a roll-up, so she didn't really... I mean, she had trouble beating Mina, so...
I mean, for the ones who didn't even get to 10 points.
Yeah.
And then Sariano is,
in her first tournament,
she's one of the best in the world, but she's also not contracted.
Yeah. And she's the tag champion. She's got this far in the tournament. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But this took Mina out of contention for winning the block. So she was not happy. She's like, I've won a lot of battles, but I didn't win the war. So what does it matter?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we had the long-awaited match of the night to decide the blue block. Micah versus Mirai.
Wow.
And this was just them beating the crap out of each other, as you would expect.
Yes.
Lots of shoulder tackles, lots of lariats. But Micah ended up with the win in the end, putting her at 12 points and winning the blue block.
Crazy.
No, I didn't see it coming, honestly. I wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
But it's Mirai. She's in there with the white belt champion.
Yeah, man.
So she won this match. She probably gets a title shot at some point.
Absolutely.
but she's going to the final first
Yeah.
at 12 points.
Yeah.
And then we got to see our red block matches.
Which is even crazier.
It is even crazier because a lot had to happen for the results that we got, starting with Ami Sourei beating Shuri. Shuri.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, gosh. So Ami Sourei goes to 8 points. Shuri's knocked out of contention for the red block win, and she's not happy about it. She's happy about Ami winning.
Right.
Of course, because that's her girl.
Yeah.
And this was very much just them battle, like a battle of wills the whole time. But Ami finally got a reverse and a stretch and then a roll up for the win. So she finally got there in the end. The next match was Natsuko versus Hazuki. And if Natsuko won this match, she would have won the block automatically because she had that many points. But Hazuki ended up winning this match to go to 10 points and keeping Natsuko out of the finals because she had lost to Suzu earlier.
A lot of story to that one, too.
Of course, you know, Hazuki's
Tie.
attachment to Natsuko from the past.
Right.
It was nice. They didn't really play into that much in this match, so, you know.
They did not.
It was what it was. There was blue mist and things involved, but Hazuki grabbed the Hazuki straw while she was blinded to win, so good for her.
Yeah.
And then we saw Tam Nakano versus Natsupoi, which was another one that was crazy and had to go a certain way to get the final that we got. And it did. Natsupoi beat Tam Nakano.
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, honestly, this one, if I would call any of them, it would have been this one. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Natsupoi's having a very good year.
I think that one of the most interesting aspects, we've not heard anything about Poi getting that title shot from this. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it has to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. She beat the champion, so she should get a title shot. And, of course, Natsupoi's out right this second. Yeah. But when she comes back, she deserves a title shot.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that is going to maybe spell the end of them.
Yes, maybe. I mean, every time they face, it's incredible.
It is.
And every time they face, they gain more respect for each other. So it might just bring them closer.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, that's the whole legendary summer of them.
Yes,
so
absolutely. So seeing this match was very hectic because if Tam won, she would have been in the final against Maika. But because she lost, we knew that it was going to be Maika versus Suzu Suzuki.
Yes.
In the 5-star Grand Prix final.
My God.
Which is just mind-blowing to think about from where we sat at the beginning of this tournament.
Yep.
To now. Like 2 long months. And we have Maika versus Suzu Suzuki.
Yeah.
In the final.
I mean, it went from a what if, oh haha, what if that actually happens?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
To it actually happening.
And there was some great spots in this match. Suzu did a Spanish fly that just looked terrifying, honestly. And they were kicking out of each other's stuff like the tequila shot and Maika's big slams. But finally, Suzu hit her double German suplex hold for the win. No, not for the win. For the almost win. And then she hit the Sky Twister press.
Yeah.
The Sky Twister press from Suzu Suzuki.
Yeah.
We lost our lunch, honestly.
Yeah. No, it was
when we
amazing.
Saw that.
It was amazing, and holy crap.
It was beautiful, too.
Yeah.
She did it so well.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And she got the win over Maika to become the 2023 Stardom 5-star Grand Prix champion. And Julia's sitting there on commentary.
Oh, my God.
She looks at Julia and just points at her, and she's like, "Are you proud of me now? Have I done it? Am I worthy of you now?"
I mean, it's such a story.
It really is, and from where they started.
It's just such an amazing story. Just God bless America. I mean, just going
Get
through
you
all
fired up.
Yeah. And
we were so happy when Suzu won this.
Oh man, I think collectively, you know, everybody that was pretty much happy. I mean, there's the Maika people that just can't, you know, get past the fact that Maika didn't win it or whatever. But sometimes that makes that character better.
It does. Yes, and of course this goes all the way back to before the tournament when Suzu told Maika, "Meet me in the final and we'll figure this out."
Yeah.
They didn't really figure anything out because it kind of led to a whole bunch more stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, but Maika's character is evolving now. Yes. And really taking her from being, you know, if you didn't want her to be second best, then this is what had to happen.
Absolutely. She made it to the finals, which is a feat.
If she got her way, then or had the happiness of, being the bride instead of the bridesmaid, if she had that happiness happen, well, what would her reason for being pissed off be?
Right. Where would the fire come from?
Yeah.
If she had won this tournament, she wouldn't have a reason to try to strive for more. She's
been wronged, but instead of keeping everybody behind her and being like, oh no, you're right. You're right, Micah. It's really bad. Micah's, as we'll find out.
Yes.
Being away.
Yes. So the 5-Star Grand Prix award winners for this year, Best Skills goes to Azumi. Makes sense.
I mean, yeah. Waking up, it's like that.
The Fighting Spirit Award went to Natsuko Tora for all of her amazing wins. Outstanding Performance goes to Natsupoi.
Okay.
Makes sense for her Revolution. Blue Star's Best Match, Mirai versus Micah. Red Star's Best Match, Hazuki versus Suzu Suzuki. Runner-up of the tournament was Micah. And the winner of the 5-Star Grand Prix was Suzu Suzuki.
Poor Micah having to get that runner-up trophy.
He looked so upset.
It's like,
oh, poor
it's like
thing.
you just imagine like a little cartoon of her with her head down, leaving in the rain, right? Like all the other girls leave before her while she's staring at that trophy,
right? And
they all leave in the sunshine, and they're in one bus, right? And they're in the cartoon, and they're all laughing, and there's flowers falling out of the bus, and they're going down the road. The bus is kind of bouncing as they're singing together in unison. Then Micah walks out, and instantly all these clouds come over the sun, and it's just pouring the rain. And she doesn't have, like, she opens her umbrella, and there's a big hole, and she, like, lowers it down toward the camera, and you could see her face in it, and she's like, damn it, and she just walks holding her trophy the whole time. And, like, bad shit keeps happening the whole time. Like, cars going by, that the happy bus goes by, and water goes on her and all this stuff.
Right.
And, she gets home and turns on her light, the light blows, and she lights a candle and goes over, and all of a sudden the lights come back on, and you see her stick her trophy up on the wall, and then it goes back from her face and the wall, and it shows the whole wall as it's pulling back, and there's like 5 million runner-up trophies. From the time she
had made that spot for the number 1 trophy finally.
From the time she's a kid all the way up, like if you see it, it's like all these little pictures with Micah's adult face on a baby body, like all these first runner-ups. I mean, that's what I saw. Like,
always the bridesmaid.
My freaking mind, right? My mind is such a weird place, but when that happened.
Oh, gosh.
That all went through my mind, like in a split second.
Right.
And it's like, that's the face she had.
You feel kind of bad for her, but at the same time, it just makes sense for her, where she is right now in her character development.
I did feel bad for her. I no longer.
Right. She's kind of taken that away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So the next night, we were in Kurakuin Hall for Azumi's 10th anniversary, which was all good fun and very strange. It was a strange night this night. We started with a 4-way match where Fukigen Death beat Hanako, Hina, and Saya Ida. Mm-hmm. Always a good time to see Fukigen Death.
Yeah.
You can't beat her in a multi-man, okay? No. She's too good. She's too fast. She's too weird. She just grabs that O'Connor roll and you're done.
Yeah, don't even sign up for it.
And then we saw Waka Tsukiyama and Mina Shirakawa defeat Miyu Amasaki and Lady C.
Yes.
In an 8-minute match. It was a good match. Megan Bain, Suzu Suzuki, and Mei Seira, the Dream Team, defeated Saki Kashima, Shuri, and Mirai. And this was, using Mei as a weapon, and Megan Bain doing Megan Bain things,
Suzuki-gun.
Yes. There was a really cool slugfest between Shuri and Suzu Suzuki in this match, which is always fun. I love when those two get close to each other because they just
absolutely
immediately start beating the crap out of each other.
They can't help themselves.
But this ended with the Gran Maestro Tequila in 9 minutes. And then after the match, Mirai was attacked by someone wearing a mask. Yeah. Just out of nowhere, doing this weird snake dance.
Oh yeah.
Which you love to see.
Yeah, very, very insane.
Yes, context clues from later on tell us that this is possibly set up for the Halloween Dark Knight show later in the month.
Right.
because it's all been very weird.
Right. I mean, we read a lot into it until it's like, oh yeah.
Oh, it's October.
Yeah, there's that Halloween show. This is probably like an Elseworld.
Yeah, probably.
It's not as big as a deal as what you're thinking.
Oh, then we saw Maika, Thekla, and Mai Sakurai defeat Hanan, Koguma, and Hazuki.
Yes.
Always a fun time when you've got FWC in there in any capacity, because they're just good fun. And that was ended with the Michinoku driver, too, from Maika in 10 minutes. And then we saw Rina, Ruaka, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko Tora defeat Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, Saori Ano, and Yuna Mizumori in a little setup match between Tam Nakano and Natsuko Tora for their upcoming title match. This was an okay match.
Yeah.
It was what it was.
It was what it was.
Know? It was a little chaotic, honestly. Yeah. Then we saw the match that we'd all been waiting for between Mayu Iwatani and Azumi for Azumi's 10th anniversary.
Yes.
Yay. And this was hilarious because it started where they immediately went outside the ring and up into the stands at Korakuen Hall, and Azumi was just like splashing her and like hitting her with chairs and stuff, and then the 20 count sounded and the match ended in 2 minutes and 6 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Azumi was so mad.
We're like, what the hell?
She's like, I lost in 44 seconds last year. This can't happen this year.
Yeah.
So they restarted the match. Or they started a new match. I don't know. But Mayu tried to take her out like immediately. She was like, I'm done with this already.
Yeah.
But this was a really good match when they really got down to it, because it's Mayu and Azumi. And it lasted for a good 12 minutes. And after the fact, after Mayu won the match, she apologized to Azumi for beating her on her anniversary, as she does. But then she talked about how as long as they have Azumi in Stardom, Stardom's going to be all right. And she asked her to continue to create the future of Stardom along with her, which I thought was really sweet.
I did too. I thought the touches after that match made that event.
It did. And it was very sweet up until the point that Mayu Iwatani started to sing Happy Birthday to Azumi, and the lights flickered, and then 3 masked people came out and kidnapped Mayu Iwatani. They just stole her and took her out of the curtain.
Yeah, which we were terribly worried about.
Nobody tried to stop them.
Or explain it to us.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I guess that's more setup. I don't know. And then the main event, Julia versus Ami Sourei for the NJPW Women's Strong title.
Yes.
And Julia won this match, but Ami Sourei showed up for it.
Right.
Okay? Like, she was not going down without a fight. It lasted a good amount of time.
As we like to say, she's a tough out.
She is. It lasted 17 minutes. Julia had to hit the Northern Lights bomb to win. And Ami Sourei did some really good stuff in this match, including flipping Julia in the middle of a torture rack to get her in the right position. It was so good. I really liked it. And Ami got a chance to really show why she should be in contention for titles like this.
And I think she's really turned it on lately anyway. So.
Absolutely. Julia, after the match, called her cheeky and said that she thinks she was pretty stupid for trying to come after her title. But hey, that's what young people are supposed to be like, you know? And then she asked for a new challenger, as champions do. And when the lights went out, I was expecting some shenanigans, but it was just a video package where Hyan challenged for her title on October 28th at Fighting Spirit Unleashed in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And of course, Hyan has wrestled in Rev Pro and Impact and Ring of Honor. She's been making a name for herself all over the world.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool.
I think it's cool that it adds to Julia's library.
She does enjoy wrestling people from all around.
Seems like she's collecting, you know?
A little bit. That makes sense for her too.
Yeah, she has a whole, so you just, I mean, it reminds me of Flair back in the day when Ric Flair would have this, I mean, he had a huge variety of opponents, and it was part of what really built the lore around him of being the best, you know? It wasn't just one company and always facing the same people.
Right.
The way that title was set up, you know, the champion traveled and he was, you know, you would go into the territory and you would defend the belt against whoever they wanted you to.
Right.
And make them look like $1 million. That was part of it. He wrestled some really, really shitty people and still yet made them
look amazing.
Made them look amazing. I mean, some really shitty people. Cousin, oh my God. one of the hillbillies.
Right.
Is the worst one I can think of off the top of my head.
Oh, man.
He went into one territory and had to do it. I forget, was it Cousin Luke? Cousin something. It's Uncle Elmer, Hillbilly Jim, Cousin whatever. But he actually had to have that match against a non-working fool.
Right.
And there was a lot of those, but they would always end up being, classics. And that's really Julia to me right now, is Julia going into what we have of a territory system of, when she goes and travels and, as it's happening now, we're at the nucleus of it. It's just kind of happening this year, really.
Yeah, it's barely started.
Of her seeming that way, seeming that she's wanting to branch out and defend that title, which is, that's such a Julia thing to make that title the most important title.
It is, so that she can be on top, like in this show. And it is the NJPW Strong title, which is based in America. So she has the right to go wherever she wants to defend this title.
She does. I mean, I think about the IWGP women's title, which has not been defended enough.
No, it hasn't.
But, with the Ultimate Champion that should be the champion, should have always been the champion, with that belt, it could be that way. The Strong title is not one you would have expected it to be built like that.
Be as big as it is.
Yeah.
But even after that, after the video package was over, she was ending the show and the lights went out again. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And when they came back on, someone slid in the ring and attacked Julia, and it turned out to be none other than Michiko, formerly known as Andras Miyagi.
Right.
Who was in Stardom in 2019 and had teamed with Julia in Stardom when Julia first got there, like a month after Julia's debut.
Yeah.
A week after Julia's debut, for a month.
Right.
They were a tag team going after the Goddess of Stardom tag team belts. But when Andras Miyagi couldn't perform, when she lost in the biggest match that they had, Julia promised the champion she was going to find a real tag team partner.
Bye.
Looked at Andras and said goodbye to you.
Yeah.
And that was the last match that Michiko had in Stardom. So I guess she's back to exact her revenge.
Yeah.
Julia's got those people.
She doesn't have, she's one of those people, man, that is.
She is.
She don't leave relationships well.
No, she's not very good at parting ways with people. Like,
no.
She doesn't like to do that, I guess.
No, when you become friends with her, you kind of need to bank on the fact.
I guess if you disappoint her, you're like, she's like, okay, I need somebody new.
Yeah,
Bye.
I mean, hey, it's fine. She needs drama. I get it.
It's so funny.
I know that person many times over.
Michiko is apparently back and ready to show Julia how worthy she is.
Well, we'll see how that goes for her.
Yes, we will. So this past weekend, on October 7th, we had 2 house shows that we're going to go through real quick leading up to Nagoya Golden Fight, starting with October 7th in Nagano, where we saw Saki Kashima and Mirai defeat Miyu Amasaki and Lady C in about 8 minutes with My Emblem. Then we saw a time limit draw match between Hanan, Mina Shirakawa, and Shiri as a debut or a predecessor to their UWF match at Nagoya Golden Fight.
It was an unbelievable match.
This 3-way match was so good too. Like, Hanan didn't get involved at first. She sat in the crowd for like 5 minutes.
It's stupid. I mean, it's stupid. It was a house show.
Yeah.
And, you're going to see a match, this quality, pay-per-view quality, on a house show. Mm-hmm. It bothers me the people that won't see it.
Yeah.
So go out of your damn way. Out of any match we talk about today,
yes,
this match I want you to go out of your way to see, because there's a chance you won't see it, and that's bothers me. But this was fantastic.
It shows the best out of all 3 of these people. And when Hanan did get involved, she got involved. Like, she was like, "Hi, I'm here to play with the big cats today," and she did. Then we saw Suzu Suzuki and Mei Seira defeat Tam Nakano and Yuna Mizumori with the tequila shot in a 12-minute match. There were a lot of long matches on this card, which was great. Then we saw Julia, Tekla, and Mai Sakurai, the Barbari Bombers, defeat Hanako, Megan Bain, and Maiko, which was almost the title match that was coming up at Nagoya Golden Fight, save for Suzuki, with the Mai Pan roll in 11 minutes and 16 seconds. And in the main event, Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Koguma defeated Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Ruaka with the diving body press in 14.5 minutes.
Yep.
Koguma getting the win there in the main event.
And not being able to talk.
And not knowing how to end the show.
Yep.
She's so funny. Then on 10-8 in Tajimi Gifu, we started off the night with Megan Bayne versus Koguma versus Tekla. And Megan Bayne won this match in 6 minutes with the good old trusty F5.
Yep. Out of nowhere.
Then Suzu Suzuki and Mei Seira got another win over Miyu Amasaki and Lady C with the Rolling Star in 9 minutes. And it was a Rolling Star, but it was a tequila shot into a Rolling Star.
Yeah, it was seamless. It was seamless.
It was so good. It was like a shooting star.
It was a shooting star. And not a shooting star press.
No.
But
their very own.
Yeah.
It was a very rolling one.
We need a different name.
A rolling shooting star. I don't know.
Yeah, we can't call it because someone would think of a shooting star.
They would. It was like you said, a double shot.
Yeah.
A double shot of tequila.
That's probably what I was thinking when I was like, no, a double shot.
So then we saw Tam Nakano and Yuna Mizumori defeat Mina Shirakawa and Hanako with the Tiger Suplex in 8 minutes. And then for the match of this night, we saw Julia Maika and Mai Sakurai defeat Hanan Hazuki and Mayu Iwatani in 11 minutes. And this was the main match of this card just because there was more of that story between Maika and Julia. Maika was in a terrible mood.
Oh my God.
The entire match.
Yeah.
And Julia was not having it.
No, it was, oh man.
This is where the tempers kind of started. Like, I guess they'd been brewing for a week since the final, and Maika was starting to show the cracks in the pavement a little.
Maika was full-blown turned.
Yes.
Like, before anything even happens.
Yes.
Like, before. And you would see this, and like Raja said, Jesus Christ, she was in a bad mood. She was like...
so angry.
She ruined dinner.
Yeah. You just ruined dinner for the whole family, Maika.
We were all very awkward.
Go to your room.
Yeah.
And in the main event, Natsuko Tora and Momo Watanabe and Ruaka defeated Shiri, Mirai, and Saki Kashima.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a fun few nights. A fun couple nights leading up to the big show. I think that everyone just wanted to have a little fun, do some good matches, which they did. And then that brings us to October 9th. Nagoya Golden Fight. And wow.
Yeah.
This card.
This card.
Every match. In the plethora of good matches, it's hard to pick a standout, but we did. We did pick a standout.
We did. And I like this better than the finals, like, by far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This was much better, like, heads and shoulders above the final night of the 5-star.
Yeah.
So it started off with a pre-show match where Amisori beat Hanan, Ruaka, Lady C, Miyu Amasaki, and Yuna Mizumori with the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yes.
Just some good old pre-show fun there.
Mm-hmm.
And we started off the main card with the High Speed Championship match where our girl, Mei Seira, defeated Saki Kashima to become the new High Speed champion.
So excited about this.
Oh, and we were worried because that Kishi Kaisei was coming. We could feel it, but Mei managed to slip out of it and roll Saki up for the win. And this match was kind of frustrating because Saki Kashima does everything in her power to cut you off and counter your moves and slow the pace down in a high-speed match.
Yeah.
It was so frustrating.
And plus, where they've not really worked, there was awkwardness.
A little bit, yes.
But it kind of went to the story.
Yeah.
Because that's Saki's.
It's her thing.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but it's fun to watch at the same time. And we're just glad that Mei Seira won, and we're excited to see her title
Absolutely.
run.
Long reign the queen.
Then we saw Sariano versus Azumi in a 5-star Grand Prix special singles match, is what they called it. And this was so much fun.
My God.
This was high speed. You talk about high speed.
Yeah, this was amazing.
And Sariano did pull out the win in this match over Azumi. And she kind of showed off that Goddess of Stardom tag belt a little because, they were supposed to have a tag team championship match on this night.
Absolutely, man. It was such a good damn match, though. But Azumi, it's kind of like that Starlight Kid thing.
Yeah, she's got another loss under her belt. She's probably not feeling very good.
Yeah.
It's weird that both of their tag team partners in this match are suffering from the same injury at the moment.
Yeah, it is. I
feel bad for them.
It's weird that the upper echelon of Stardom is suffering right now.
Yes, they are. Then we saw the UWF rules match between Shiri and Mina Shirakawa. And this match was just amazing.
It was.
They both did so well, and it started as you would expect, with Shiri very quickly taking 3 of Mina's 5 points just like right in a row. But after that, Mina managed to get 2 points off of Shiri.
Yeah.
Like 2 in a row.
Yeah.
But that didn't really matter because Sherry knocked Mina out with a roundhouse kick to win the match.
Yeah, it was badass.
But Mina showed her grit and determination throughout this match.
Yeah.
I was very proud of her.
It was such a good match. I mean, it just has to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
The level of violence and Shirakawa really building herself up for this. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know who in their right mind wants to challenge their own self against Sherry, but there are people that do it, and we saw one. It was fantastic. I mean, I like it because Sherry's back where she needs to be, really. I think that was a huge win that she needed.
Yeah, she's been suffering a little too lately, and we've been seeing her feel very disappointed in herself, I think, over those losses, but she was in her wheelhouse for this match, so she wasn't going to lose. And after this match, there was another, like, weird video package with Mina.
This one was super strange.
Mina's still in the ring, but there's a video of Mina talking to the camera on screen, and someone's peeking out of the doorway behind her in one of those masks that we saw at the 10th anniversary show, and she ends up getting attacked by the end, and we just have to assume that this is for this is Halloween shenanigans.
Obviously okay.
Yes, because she's in
the damn ring watching it.
It was very strange.
This one was strange.
Oh, goodness. So, next we saw Julia Tekla and Mai Sakurai versus Suzu Suzuki, Suzu Suzuki, Micah, and Megan Bayne for the artist belts.
Yes.
And this match, while not the match of the night, was probably the storyline of the night.
Absolutely.
Because this entire match, like, we didn't get very far into this match before Suzu and Micah started fighting each other instead of the other team.
Right. Yeah.
And because of that, all these miscues led to Micah taking the pin, which is not a good thing in her current state of mind.
Right.
Which showed when she immediately stormed off after the match. After trying to beat up Suzu again.
Right.
She just stormed off, and Julia, who was going to say something, ran after her, like screaming her name.
Yeah, and then you could hear them yelling from the back.
Yes, they were obviously having a very heated discussion, and Micah's just gone off the deep end.
Yeah.
She's just mad at everyone, especially Suzu. I think she's mad at Julia for whatever reason. Mai Sakurai tried to do her post-match thing to kind of clear the air. I think everyone felt a little awkward.
Yeah, no, it was, I don't know. I love where it's going. Interested to see how it gets there.
Yes, and Tekla didn't care. She was just glad they stole the belt.
Yeah, she don't care. She's like, I'm a champion, damn it.
Then we saw Mirai defeat Momo Watanabe to retain the Wonder of Stardom championship. So she did that with the lariat. Mm-hmm. And when you see a lariat from Mirai, you know it's over.
Yeah, you see an lariat. It's Stan Hansen.
Mirai was not having any of Momo's crap during this match. She even turned it on her a few times.
Yeah, no, and kudos.
Yes, good for her.
I'm a little bit over the Oedo Tai stuff, so.
Yeah, it's on maybe not every match.
Yeah.
Then comes the match of the night, match-wise, where Nanae Takahashi, Kairi, and Mayu Iwatani took on Hazuki Koguma and Saya Ida in Kairi's send-off match from Stardom.
My God, what a match.
The work in this match was so beautiful from start to finish. It brings a tear to your eye.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was, Jesus Christ, it was great.
There was a moment in this match where Hazuki and Kairi were just killing each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely going to town on each other. Koguma took a lot of beating in this match.
She did.
And Mayu, of course, was Mayu, you know. She did her, like, tossing drop kick and all those good things. But in the end, Kairi won the match with the insane elbow. And there was a very touching moment after the match where she spoke to each of the other team members very genuinely and very sweetly. And she just kind of, you know, she said her goodbyes. And
yeah,
it was very sweet.
It was a lot of tears.
Everyone was crying.
Again, but Jesus, man, that match is really good.
It was such a good match. If you haven't seen it yet, it's worth watching.
It's really good. It's a very Stardom match.
It was. It's very like Stardom top tier wrestlers match.
Yeah.
And then in the main event, because we still had a main event after that, we saw Tam Nakano versus Natsuko Tora in the World of Stardom Championship match with no one at ringside. Notably, and Daichi was very upset about this because he had to like go out and clear the crowd for the chair shots and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, where are the seconds? Why is no one here? But it was it was really cool because they got to have like just a normal match, even though they did use chairs, even though Tora used the mist, but it didn't work this time because Tam Nakano rallied back with the violet screwdriver for the pin and the win to retain her red belt.
Yeah, and it should not have been the main event.
No, probably not over the Kairi match.
Yeah.
I probably would have put the Kairi match on top, but I do understand because this was for the main championship.
Right.
So you could, it takes precedence.
No, I get it. I do get it. It's just it wasn't the main event.
No, but overall it was a really good night from start to finish, and the Micah storyline, the Suzu storyline, all of that is just ramping up, and I'm so excited to see where they take it from here.
Me too, man. I mean, it was awesome, and like I said, it was the best of the last few weeks.
Absolutely. And coming up in just a few days, we have the first night of the Goddess of Stardom Tag League show, and they've announced the card for that. It is going to be Yuna Mizumori versus Ruaka in a pre-show match, Mai Sakurai and Thekla versus Mirai and Miyu Amasaki, Julia versus Michiko, and then for the block matches, we have Mina Shirakawa and Waka Tsukiyama versus Saya Ida and Hanako, Maika and Megan Bain versus Amisori and Lady C, Shiri and Saki Kashima versus Natsuka Tora and Momo Watanabe, Suzu Suzuki and Mei Seira versus Risa Sera and Hiragi Kurumi, just going straight for the prominence thing right at the start.
Right.
And then Mayu Iwatani and Hanan versus Hazuki and Koguma for a Stars faction battle.
Yeah.
So that is going to be super exciting.
It is. It is.
And unfortunately, we did learn that Tam Nakano and Izumi are both missing the shows this weekend just as a precaution to make sure they're okay and that nothing like I guess they were showing signs of possibly getting an injury.
Matches.
We did lose the Tam Nakano tag team match with Yuna Mizumori, so their opponents get a bye for this match. Like they're just going to get the points.
Okay.
So that sucks a little, but we still get a really good card out of it.
Absolutely.
And I hope that this rest this weekend, it does good for them and they're able to just come back and win the tournament.
Too many injuries lately.
Way too many injuries, absolutely.
When they don't normally have that many injuries. So
yeah,
it's just people are beat down.
All right, guys. So a little more about what we were talking about earlier in our intro when we spoke about the new direction of the show. Starting next week, we're going to have a really exciting shift in the way that we do the show,
right?
Where the first half is what you've heard before from us, where we're talking about what's happening right now in wrestling, what happened over the past week, going over results in a much quicker, hit the highlights, focus on the storylines manner, where we can talk about the parts of the wrestling that we love and the things that really stood out to us the most.
Speed up to slow down.
Yes, exactly. And then the second half of the show will be our feature, our main event, if you will. And next week we have a very exciting topic to talk about. I'm very excited to talk about it after all the research that I've been doing. We are going to be introducing you or reintroducing you or letting you in on a little more information about one Suzu Suzuki. We're going to be talking about her beginnings in pro wrestling.
Awesome.
Where she was the bike girl.
Oh.
Her evolution into the violent prodigy. Her deathmatch 7-match trial series. And even her reunion with Julia all the way up until present day.
My God.
Where she is now, where we see her as the winner of the 5-Star Grand Prix. So we're really excited to bring you this story of who is Suzu Suzuki. So in case you don't know and you want to know, you'll have all the information that you need to fall in love with her, just like we have.
The Crazy Girl Collection.
Yes, exactly. So look forward to that. We are going to be coming back with another episode very soon. There's no more long, crazy breaks in between these, so you better be ready because we're ready.
Absolutely.
So follow us on all our social media. We are releasing our Patreon very soon. We didn't want to start it with subpar content. We wanted to get all our ducks in a row so that we could quack with the best of them.
There you go.
So totally look forward to all that. At Wrestling Is Her on all social media, Facebook, X, Instagram. And we are excited about what's to come. And we hope you are too. So we will see you next time on Wrestling Is Her. Bye.
Bye.